Hi, it's Graham Dargie here with another teachable moment. This time we're going to look at how to do a panoramic photo merge in Lightroom Classic. I know there's other softwares around that you can do HDRs and panos in, but for me I've just never had a problem doing it in Lightroom, so it's the simplest way to do it for me. Here you can see the pictures that we're going to use. Actually, in this case I'm going to do an HDR Pano. And so that means I've got three sets of three images here, and these first three here, we're going to HDR those together, and then the same with the next three, we're going to HDR these together, and with the last three we'll HDR those together, and then we'll put those three HDRs into one panel. But Lightroom now has the ability to do this all in one process. So I'm going to select all the images there. So either click the first one and then click the last one, press Shift and click that one, and that selects them all. The simplest way for me to get to this is to right click on one of the images, Photo Merge comes up on this drop down, and there you can see HDR, which I did in a previous video, Pano, which we could just do here. HDR Pano is going to do them all together. So I'm just going to click that and let's see what happens. So this window comes up and it's going to create a preview in here, and that's going to take a little while, so I'm going to just pause my recording and come back to this in a minute. Okay, Lightroom has taken a few minutes to put this together, so that's the HDR Pano. Now you can see here I've got auto settings applied. That just applies the auto tone settings to the images. That, as I've said before, it gives me something to start. It gives you a starter point for the image, and you can see it's without it, it's not so good. It's better with it. This is not the greatest image of all time. We were just waiting for the sun to break through when we were up here at Store on the Isle of Skye, so doing some HDR Pano shots there, and the sun actually broke through just after that. But anyway, never mind. What you get here is auto settings, and there's the option for the auto crop to crop away this white space on the side. Before I do that, let me show you these three things. This is how Lightroom projects the image. So there's a spherical projection, here's the cylindrical projection, and we'll do the perspective one next, just to let you see them. I think for this image, spherical is going to be okay, and that tends to be okay for me for most of the panos that I've done. But let's just take a look. And here's the perspective projection. You can see that one's not working out so well, so we'll just go back to spherical for this image. And now that it's there, I'm just going to click the auto crop, and that's going to crop away all the white space at the edges, and that gives us something to work with. So let me click merge here. That's going to put the HDR Pano together. That's going to take a few minutes. Okay, so Lightroom has put this all together for me now, and it gives you an incredibly detailed file. And it's a DNG file, and with it being HDR, you have 10 stops of exposure either way, so you get a 20 stop range to work with. Tons of detail with it being, in my case, shots from a D810, so 36 megapixels times 3 sort of. And you can just go ahead and process this like you would any other file. And I'll just quickly put a couple of things on there. Crowd on the sky, and I've turned the process to landscape. A bit of saturation up there as well. Close. I want to change the white balance actually. That's giving me issues to cloudy. That's really more like how I remember it. And now you can just go about processing this to your own taste. A bit of texture in there. Let me just put a touch of a vignette on there, just to give you an idea. I always do the lens corrections, just to give you an idea of what is possible with this canvas, like I'm saying. Feather that up. And I don't know if you're into vignettes, but let's just pop that on there just to give us a quick. Now we can have press Y to have a before and after, and so very quickly we've gone from something that's a bit flat and a bit drab to something that's really got some pop to it. So that is the HDR Photomerge in Lightroom Classic. A really brilliant way to put things together. It does take a few minutes for Lightroom to stitch it all together and to sort out the HDR, but actually once you get it done, you can go off and make a cup of tea. When you come back to the computer, this will be ready for you to work on. And again, massive file, loads of detail, and a lot to work with. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. I'll be back with more teachable moments later. Check the channel. You can subscribe if you don't want to miss the updates. Also, check out my website. It's grahamdargie.com, where you can find out more about what I do, local classes, trips to Skye, and photo safaris in Kenya. And I'll be back again with another teachable moment. Enjoy your photography. I'll see you.